to ask you about 5G and sort of, I know it's not rolled out yet, but there's a lot of talk about it here. What are your thoughts and what are the implications for marketers and consumers and carriers, and what do you think, what are your expectations?
I think that the main implication comes for consumers, and then the changes in consumer behaviours has a knock-on impact into advertising and marketing. I think the change for consumers means that they're going to be able to do even more on their phone all of the time. So at the moment, it's great, you can Snapchat, you can tweet, you can check your Facebook, but if you go to a big event, something like this, or you go to a big football stadium, and you try kind of doing those sorts of things, then you tend to come up with network issues. Whereas 5G is going to enable people to be able to do all of that. And then you look at sort of some of the stands here, guys at Nokia, what they're looking at in terms of stadium infrastructure, being able to, for fans watching a game, being able to watch a live stream from a camera located, kind of different cameras located around the stadium. For broadcasters, being able to actually have wireless cameras rather than have everything having to be wired in. They're going to be able to actually broadcast that, get that back into their editing suites without all the miles of cable that go around. So I think it's just going to mean a lot more ability to do more things more of the time and much quicker as well. So the latency kind of drops off if you're trying to live stream something in a stadium, rather than at the moment there's going to be a kind of 5-second delay on it. You're going to be able to actually watch a really real-time live stream. So I think it's going to be really incredible.
That's great. And what about the handset, the use case of handsets and sort of what's going on, the state of handsets now and what you would hope they move to, perhaps?
Yeah, there's a great handset from ZTE that's taking 3D photographs, and they look absolutely awesome. Whether that's going to take off and become mass consumer or not, I don't know, but certainly there's kind of continuing technology advances with handsets. Mainly it's just around them getting faster, better cameras. There's a couple of the manufacturers here, Huawei being one of them, that are really focusing on the imaging within the handset. But really, I think it's just, again, it's faster, it's more memory. What's quite interesting on the Sony stand is their Xperia Ear, which is just similar to the Apple AirPod. So it's two earpieces that you can put in your ears, no wires to them obviously, and the idea is that you wear them all the time and it becomes your personal assistant. So you can talk to it talks back to you, but it also has ambient noise can get in, so you're not just listening to your personal assistant in your ear, you can hear what's going on around you as well. So I think there's continuing sort of changes in that area, and I think that voice activation, what you see from the likes of Amazon with Alexa, also Apple with Siri and Google with their assistant, that kind of move to voice interfaces, and then also having kind of more earpieces, I think could be an interesting shift in kind of UI for consumers and for handset manufacturers. So how much more do we continue to need a screen as opposed to just kind of that voice interaction?
Let's talk about what some of you guys call advertising, some of you don't want to refer to it, but the marketing work that you guys do in the mobile handset. And I wanted to ask you about apps versus the mobile web, and in terms of pre-roll and bespoke content, and how you see the marketing message developing in the platforms that you find most valuable.
Yeah, I think it's sort of, there's becoming big, kind of almost walled garden platforms. They're very native platforms that are controlled by the companies themselves. So clearly Facebook, Twitter are examples of that. Snapchat, another example of that. And they're where we're seeing great traction, but then it's very much an individual sort of silo play, rather than being able to talk to people across the entirety of the mobile web. So we need to be careful that we don't just kind of focus too narrowly on those silos, but also keep an open perspective to be able to reach people all of the time, no matter what it is that they're doing on their device. The problem with the kind of more open web is the data that's available. There's less of it, and it can be less accurate than some of the data that you get in those closed ecosystems. So it's a bit of a payoff between data and kind of larger reach.
How is the form factor, the creative factor evolving to keep up with mobile consumption?
Yeah, I think one of the things with mobile consumption, there's so much of it that potentially the inventory is infinite in supply. So we need to be careful not to kind of overburden consumers with too much advertising. It's great for kind of publishers, people like Facebook, increasing their yields, increasing their revenues by putting more adverts in there. But then you need to be very careful of the actual customer experience. In terms of creative that we're seeing in there, it's actually really good. Very native, fits very well within the wider content that people are looking at. What we're finding is that it's super important to actually create and develop different adverts for each platform. So even between Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, then you need to have different types of creative, different types of messaging that you're putting out there. So you need to be very, very aware of the different platforms that we're advertising in and tailor creative accordingly.